Hey everyone and welcome back to the show. Today, we're unpacking the numbers from UPL Limited. They've just released their audited financial results and there's quite a bit to talk about, especially considering the agricultural sector's dynamics.
Absolutely. UPL is a major global player in sustainable agricultural solutions. They deal in crop protection, seeds, and specialty chemicals, a pretty comprehensive portfolio. They're headquartered in Mumbai, India, but their reach is truly international, operating in over 140 countries. It's also interesting to note their distinct platforms like UPL Corporation, UPL SAS for sustainable agri solutions, Advanta Enterprises for seeds, and Superform Chemistries.
So the documents we're looking at cover the audited, consolidated and standalone financial results for the fourth quarter and the full financial year ended March 31st, 2025. The Board of Directors approved these results on May 12, 2025. We'll be looking at both the consolidated picture, which includes all their global operations and subsidiaries, and the standalone figures, which reflect the Indian parent company's performance.
Sounds good. There's a lot to cover, from their impressive turnaround this year to some significant corporate actions.
Let's start with the big picture, the consolidated results for UPL Limited. How did their revenue look for the fourth quarter and the full year?
Okay, on the consolidated front for Q4 FY25, UPL reported revenue from operations of 15,570 crore rupees. Year over year, that's an 11% increase from the 14,080 crore rupees they posted in Q4 FY24. Now, looking at quarter-over-quarter performance, revenue jumped significantly by about 42.7% from the 10,907 crore rupees in Q3 FY25. For the full financial year FY25, consolidated revenue grew by 8% to 46,640 crore rupees, up from 43,100 crore rupees in FY24.
An 11% year-over-year jump in Q4 revenue and an 8% rise for the full year is quite solid. What about their operational profitability? How did EBITDA fare on a consolidated basis?
EBITDA showed very strong growth. For Q4 FY25, consolidated EBITDA grew by a hefty 68% year-over-year to 3,240 crore rupees, up from 1,930 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. For the full year FY25, EBITDA increased by 47% to 8,120 crore rupees compared to 5,520 crore rupees in FY24. The press release doesn't break down QoQ for EBITDA directly, but the EBITDA margin improvement in Q4 is quite stark, jumping by 710 basis points to 20.8% compared to 13.7% in Q4 FY24. For the full year, the margin improved by 460 basis points to 17.4%.
That's a significant improvement in profitability. Let's look at profit before tax or PBT from the consolidated statements. How did that look for Q4 and the full year, considering any exceptional items?
Right. For the consolidated PBT in Q4 FY25, after accounting for exceptional items, it stood at 1,377 crore rupees. This is a massive turnaround compared to a PBT of just 30 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, PBT also saw a strong rise from 354 crore rupees in Q3 FY25. For the full year FY25, consolidated PBT was 829 crore rupees. This is a significant recovery from a loss before tax of 2,087 crore rupees in FY24.
And that brings us to the bottom line, profit after tax or PAT on a consolidated basis.
For Q4 FY25, the consolidated net profit attributable to equity shareholders of the company was 900 crore rupees. This is a remarkable improvement from the 40 crore rupees they reported in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, this is also up from the 828 crore rupees net profit in Q3 FY25. For the full financial year FY25, the consolidated net profit attributable to shareholders was also 900 crore rupees. This compares to a net loss of 1,200 crore rupees in FY24. So, a complete turnaround from loss to profit for the full year.
That's a strong comeback. How does this translate into earnings per share or EPS for the consolidated entity?
The consolidated basic EPS for Q4 FY25 was 11.42 rupees. This is a substantial increase from 0.52 rupees in Q4 FY24. Sequentially, the Q4 EPS of 11.42 rupees is also up from 9.91 rupees in Q3 FY25. For the full year FY25, the consolidated basic EPS stood at 9.85 rupees, a significant recovery from a negative EPS of 17.45 rupees in FY24.
What about other income on the consolidated side? Was it a significant contributor?
For Q4 FY25, consolidated other income was 107 crore rupees, slightly down from 126 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, it was also down from 170 crore rupees in Q3 FY25. For the full year FY25, other income was 486 crore rupees, almost flat compared to 483 crore rupees in FY24. So it's a steady but not a dramatically fluctuating component for the full year.
Okay, that gives us a good overview of the consolidated performance. Now let's switch gears to the standalone financial results, reflecting UPL's Indian parent company operations. How did the revenue look there for Q4 and the full year?
For the standalone entity, in Q4 FY25, revenue from continuing operations was 2011 crore rupees. This is a strong year-over-year increase of 61% from 1,248 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, it's also up significantly from 1,427 crore rupees in Q3 FY25. However, for the full year FY25, standalone revenue from continuing operations was 5,330 crore rupees, a slight dip of 1.3% from 5,398 crore rupees in FY24. This highlights a much stronger Q4 performance offsetting a weaker trend in the earlier part of the year for standalone.
Interesting dynamic there with standalone revenue. What about profit before tax or PBT for the standalone entity?
The standalone PBT for Q4 FY25 from continuing operations after exceptional items was a very high 1,712 crore rupees. This is largely due to a significant exceptional gain, which we'll discuss. This compares to a PBT of just 48 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, this is also a massive jump from a PBT of 301 crore rupees in Q3 FY25, again influenced by exceptional items. For the full year FY25, standalone PBT from continuing operations was 2,045 crore rupees, more than double the 949 crore rupees in FY24.
And the standalone profit after tax or PAT?
The standalone profit for the period for Q4 FY25, including both continuing and discontinued operations, was 1,739 crore rupees. This is a huge increase from a profit of just 76 crore rupees in Q4 FY24 for continuing operations and a net loss of 10 crore rupees for the total period in Q4 FY24 when discontinued ops were considered. Quarter over quarter, this is up from a total profit of 874 crore rupees in Q3 FY25. For the full year FY25, the standalone total profit for the year was 2,939 crore rupees, a significant jump from 1,208 crore rupees in FY24.
And the standalone EPS considering both continuing and discontinued operations?
The standalone basic EPS for Q4 FY25 was 22.16 rupees, a massive swing from a negative EPS of 0.13 rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, it's also up from 12.92 rupees in Q3 FY25. For the full year FY25, the standalone basic EPS was 38.13 rupees, up substantially from 15.78 rupees in FY24.
How did other income look for the standalone entity?
Standalone other income from continuing operations for Q4 FY25 was just 10 crore rupees, down from 13 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, it was up from 5 crore rupees in Q3 FY25. However, for the full year FY25, standalone other income was 147 crore rupees, which is significantly lower than the 822 crore rupees reported in FY24. This large drop in annual other income for standalone is notable.
Definitely some different trends between consolidated and standalone, especially with annual revenue and other income. Now let's talk about profitability margins. We touched on consolidated EBITDA margins. What else can we infer?
Right. The consolidated EBITDA margin for Q4 FY25 was strong at 20.8%, a significant improvement from 13.7% in Q4 FY24. For the full year, it was 17.4%, up from 12.8%. This indicates improved operational efficiency and cost management at the group level. For the standalone entity, directly comparable EBITDA margins aren't provided in the summary, But the PBT margins, even before the large exceptional gain in Q4, were showing improvement, suggesting better underlying profitability for the Indian operations as well towards the end of the year.
You mentioned exceptional items significantly impacting the standalone PBT in Q4. Can you elaborate on these for both consolidated and standalone results?
On the consolidated side, for the full year FY25, there was a net exceptional expense of 408 crore rupees. This included costs related to restructuring, a loss due to fire, litigation costs, and a VAT disallowance in Brazil. For Q4 FY25 alone, exceptional items amounted to 275 crore rupees. On the standalone side, it's a different story for Q4 and the full year FY25. There was a net exceptional gain of 1,857 crore rupees in Q4 and 2,112 crore rupees for the full year. The major component here is the gain on the sale of a stake in Advanta Enterprises Limited, which is a subsidiary. This largely explains the surge in standalone profits for Q4. There were also costs related to the transfer of the specialty chemicals business, which offset some of this gain.
That Advanta stake sale is a big one. Any key highlights from the balance sheet? What's the debt situation like?
A very significant point from the press release is the reduction in net debt. It stood at 13,860 crore rupees at the end of FY25. This is a reduction of 8,320 crore rupees from the 22,170 crore rupees at the end of FY24. This was driven by strong operating free cash flow and proceeds from capital transactions. On the consolidated balance sheet as of March 31, 2025, the equity attributable to owners of the parent stood at 29,213 crore rupees, up from 24,807 crore rupees a year ago. For the standalone entity, the equity stood at 12,021 crore rupees, up significantly from 7,530 crore rupees, largely due to the retained earnings from exceptional gains.
That net debt reduction is a major positive. What about cash flows? And did the company declare any dividends?
Looking at the consolidated cash flow statement for FY25, net cash generated from operating activities was very strong at 10,151 crore rupees, a huge improvement from 2,321 crore rupees in FY24. This robust cash flow supports the debt reduction. On the standalone side, net cash used in operating activities for FY25 was 923 crore rupees, a slightly higher usage compared to 411 crore rupees used in FY24. This difference between consolidated operating cash flow generation and standalone usage is typical for a holding company structure with global operations. And yes, good news for shareholders. The board has recommended a dividend of 300%, which is 6 rupees per equity share of 2 rupees each. This is, of course, subject to shareholder approval at the AGM. The press release mentions this dividend applies to fully paid up and partly paid up shares in proportion to their paid up capital.
That's great for investors. Now let's delve into the segment performance on a consolidated basis. UPL has crop protection, seeds, and non-agro segments. How did they fare?
Right. Looking at the consolidated segment results for FY25, the largest segment, crop protection, reported revenue of 39,796 crore rupees, up from 36,898 crore rupees in FY24. The profit before interest and tax, or PBIT, for this segment was 4,992 crore rupees, a substantial jump from 1,794 crore rupees in the previous year. The seed segment, which includes Advanta, saw revenue increase to 4,678 crore rupees from 4,224 crore rupees in FY24. Segment PBIT also improved to 978 crore rupees from 807 crore rupees. The non-agro segment reported revenue of 2,383 crore rupees, slightly up from 2,305 crore rupees. However, its PBIT dipped slightly to 236 crore rupees from 253 crore rupees in FY24. So clearly crop protection was the star performer in terms of profit recovery, and the seeds segment also showed healthy growth.
The detailed segment breakdown is very insightful. Were there any other significant notes or events mentioned in the financial results or the accompanying press release that we should highlight?
Yes, a few key things. The company successfully completed a rights issue during the year, and the press release mentions proceeds from this contributing to debt reduction. Note 2 of the consolidated financials details that about 824 crore rupees was received from the first call money by March 5, 2025. The Advanta stake sale to AlphaWave Global was a major event as we discussed. UPL invested $350 million US, leading to a gain of 2,084 crore rupees attributable to the parent, and an increase in non-controlling interest by 779 crore rupees. This was completed on March 26, 2025. There was a VAT disallowance related to UPL do Brazil of 233 crore rupees, which was recognized as an exceptional cost. And as mentioned in the notes to accounts, on the consolidated side, there was a reversal of tax provision amounting to 592 crore rupees related to earlier years following a favorable adjudication by the appellate authority on certain expenditures. This positively impacted the tax expense for the year. On the standalone side, the transfer of the specialty chemicals business to its wholly owned subsidiary, Superform Chemistries Limited, was a key strategic move. And this business is disclosed as discontinued operations in the standalone results until its transfer date of December 1st, 2024.
Those are all very important developments. Now, a critical part of any earnings analysis, the auditor's report. What did BSR and Company LLP, the statutory auditors, have to say about both the consolidated and standalone financials? Any qualifications or emphasis of matter?
Good question. For both the audited consolidated financial results and the audited standalone financial results for the year ended March 31st, 2025, BSR and Company LLP have issued an unmodified opinion. This means that in their view, the financial statements give a true and fair view, in conformity with the accounting principles generally accepted in India. There are no qualifications or adverse opinions, which is a positive sign regarding the transparency and accuracy of the reported financials. The cover letter for the financials also explicitly states that the statutory auditors have issued an unmodified audit report.
An unmodified opinion from the auditors is definitely reassuring. So pulling all this together, what's the outlook for UPL based on these FY25 results, and what are the potential risks?
The FY25 performance, especially in the second half and Q4, shows a strong recovery and turnaround for UPL. The significant net debt reduction is a major positive, strengthening their balance sheet. The management commentary in the press release is optimistic, highlighting a sharper business model, stronger margins, and renewed momentum. The investor presentation provides guidance for FY26. Revenue growth is projected at 4 to 8% and EBITDA growth at 10 to 14%. This suggests continued positive momentum. Key drivers will be continued volume growth in key markets, new product launches, and operational efficiencies. The strategic actions, like the Advanta stake sale and the restructuring of the specialty chemicals business, seem to be aimed at unlocking value and focusing the business. Risks, as always in this sector, include global agrochemical market conditions, weather patterns affecting demand, raw material price volatility, and currency fluctuations given their global footprint. However, the strengthened balance sheet provides a better cushion against these. And of course, a standard disclaimer: we advise investors to check with certified experts before taking any investment decisions.
That makes sense. So to conclude our discussion on UPL's FY25 results,
UPL has demonstrated a significant financial turnaround in FY25, moving from a net loss to a substantial net profit on a consolidated basis. Revenue growth was solid, but the real story is the sharp improvement in EBITDA and profitability, driven by volume growth, better product mix, and cost efficiencies. The net debt reduction of over $1 billion is a key achievement. The standalone performance was heavily boosted in Q4 by the exceptional gain from the Advanta stake sale, but underlying operations also showed improvement. Segment-wise, crop protection led the recovery, with the seed segment also performing well. With unmodified audit reports for both standalone and consolidated financials and positive guidance for FY26, the outlook appears to be on an improving trajectory. Investors will likely be watching for sustained margin improvement and continued deleveraging.
excellent summary. A very eventful year for UPL, and it looks like they've navigated it well to post a strong recovery. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for tuning in.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more financial insights.